When I have high hopes for a film and it dramatically lets me down, there's such a great sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that it kind of makes me want to cry. That might be slightly hyperbolic, but I did have high hopes for Doctor Sleep. I love The Shining. Unfortunately, I only have about 50% positive things to say about this. So it's directed and written by Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan did Oculus, which is incredible, based of course on the novel by Stephen King. And it's set when Dan Torrance is now an adult. So many years have passed since The Shining. They left the hotel behind, started their new life. He grew up into an adult, but he's still struggling, of course, with a lot of these demons. And he meets a young girl who's also, she has these powers, and together they try and find out more about this, and also kind of, she starts to control them, and then they meet this kind of cult of people, and I don't like it. So Abra gets brought into this kind of cult, and the only thing that I like about this is Rose the Hat, played by Rebecca Ferguson. She's a brilliant character, she's beautiful, I love her quite a lot. So thanks to the film for giving us her. But the rest of it felt so out of place. As a sequel to The Shining, I was expecting it to at least have the same kind of intensity, the same level of fear, the threat of the unknown. None of that was really there. I was never, not at one point in this film was I scared or on edge or kind of anxious for what was around the corner. Whenever the kind of these cult-based characters came on, I just thought, get out, get away. This doesn't fit, it doesn't feel right. It's not the same, it's not the same. I feel like Joey mourning after Hugsy. It's that bad. It's just, it's not a sequel, it's a completely different film, but it can't be seen as a completely different film because it's Dan Torrance's kind of own little story arc and how he's developed as a character, so there has to be an element of The Shining there, and for the most part there just isn't. But thankfully, for about 40% of the film, there is a little bit of The Shining there. So we do have some kind of flashbacks to The Shining, we have some recreations. Young Dan is played by Roger Dale Floyd. I think he does that really well. And Alex Esso plays Wendy Torrance. The casting there was absolutely incredible. Really phenomenal bit of casting. I think all the way through the casting was on point. So credit where credit is due, they do that well. And then we do have some hotel-based scenes, and I shan't say any more than that about them. I don't want to spoil the only good bits of the film, I'll be perfectly blunt. But those bits I did like, and I thought if only they'd done that for more of the film, it would have made it more meaningful and would have made it more of a worthy sequel. Having not read King's novel of Doctor Sleep, I really cannot compare it. I can't say if the film was like it, or if it took all of the best elements, or if it took all of the worst elements, or muddled up the narrative order. Maybe I will read it to find out, but I haven't actually read The Shining yet. It's still in the fridge. A lot of Joy references here. The film was a massive disappointment. The flashbacks, the hotel scenes, really good. The rest of it felt out of place, it felt pointless. It didn't feel like it fit in the film. There was no fear factor, there was no real horror, there was nothing that made me want to scream, "Here's Johnny," in excitement. It was just, I feel like it was pretty much a waste of time.